First, I want to thank Skip for reading so he would be brief and not take too much. God love you, Skip. First, I want to thank the Geauga County Tea Party for hosting this event. My name is Blake Rear, and I'm currently your county commissioner, appointed to fill Tracy Jameson's term. I've lived in Geauga County for 66 years, my entire lifetime. When I was 18, I joined the Army and spent a year in combat in South Vietnam. Upon returning to the States, I married one of my school classmates and started a family. As my family grew, I felt I needed to become more involved with the community. This led to my volunteering for youth sports and various school projects. My involvement with the schools eventually led to 8 years on the Chardon School Board, 4 of those as president, and 3 years as an Auburn Career Center school board member. I've worked in the private sector, the public sector, and ran my own metal fabrication business for 22 years. I'm asking for your vote this election because I'm the most qualified candidate, having served as your commissioner for almost a year. I understand finance and budgeting. I am familiar with all of the 10 departments the commissioners oversee. I understand what the Board of Commissioners has control over and what it doesn't. I can and do work well with members of a board. I have a history of building consensus, and although I don't cut deals, I will collaborate and compromise. We need to provide residents with more efficient services while using fewer resources. Commissioners are responsible for the appropriation of money and appointing department heads who manage various departments. Additionally, commissioners are active members of various boards. It is imperative that the Board of Commissioners perform these duties in an efficient and effective manner based on conservative principles. I am committed to safety and security of Geauga County and believe the Commissioner's Office must provide strong support for our law enforcement agencies. I strongly believe that the public should be better informed about their government, and I have already worked the time I have been in office to have all commissioners' meetings recorded and posted on YouTube. I was instrumental in calling for night meetings so that more residents could be involved in county government. 3 of the issues as commissioner I am dealing with are the opiate heroin epidemic, the needs of the growing senior population, and increasing economic growth in the county. There is no magic wand to wave to solve these problems. It's going to take time and money. The most important thing a commissioner can do is to manage the budget, ensuring that we minimize wasteful spending, duplication of services, and maintain equity among the various departments within the county. All of this without raising taxes. Finally, this is a full-time job for me. I have no other employment, and I answer only to the voters. I work with other office holders, not for them. I'm not a yes man. Please vote for me, Blake Rear, your county commissioner.
Good evening. My name is Brian Johnston. I'm an independent candidate for Geauga County Commissioner. First and foremost, I would like to state that I believe in the Constitution of the United States and the state of Ohio. I support it and freedom of speech. I would like to thank the Tea Party for the wonderful opportunity to be here tonight. The work you do and the presence you have in this county is important. I've been a resident of Burton Village for 24 years. I grew up in Mentor. And I've served as a councilman and member of the Board of Public Affairs, the Water and Sewer Board in Burton, for 12 years. 3 of those years as council president, elected by my constituents, and 2 years as Board of Public Affairs president. In June of this year, I was appointed as Geauga Park Commissioner for a 6-month term, which expires at the end of the year on December 31st. I'm also a licensed funeral director, and I've been associated with the Burr Funeral Home in Chardon for 24 years. The last 26 years of my career was spent with the Geauga County Sheriff's Office. I started as a road deputy, promoted to detective, narcotics detective. I taught DARE on a part-time basis in the West Geauga schools. I was assigned to the DEA in Cleveland for 6 years on a federal drug task force, stopping money flowing out of Cleveland and drugs flowing in. A large percentage of the money that we confiscated at the DEA came back to Geauga County. I had a canine unit, and I can tell you it was a very interesting work, and it was a very good position to be on with the DEA in Geauga County. We have a problem in Geauga County, and a lot of people talk about it. The problem is heroin and opiate addiction. It's not going away, and we're only really nipping at the tip of the iceberg. I propose the first week in office as county commissioner, if I'm elected, to formulate a joint agency task force to investigate violent crime and the heroin problem in Geauga County. This task force will be made up of members of all the police departments who voluntarily want to join and the sheriff's office. Many times, these drug organizations cross over territorial lines, township, village, city of Chardon. Many times, local police from one agency may not know they're investigating the same organization or perpetrator. A task force made up of these officers, funded by overtime and ancillary equipment, the commissioner's office, would help put an end to this problem. We're not going to eradicate it, but we can certainly decimate it before it decimates the children and members of this community. The other issue we're looking at, beside the day-to-day business of running the commissioner's office, is some mandates that are in place to go in effect January 1, 2015, that have been shoved down our throat by the Ohio Department of Health. Now, I met with the health commissioner, Mr. Robert Weisdack, last week, just to make sure my information was correct. The Ohio Department of Health is putting in mandates that we're going to have to upgrade or replace our septic systems. 3/4 of the homes in Geauga County have septic systems. And if it's not broken, let's not fix it. Along with these septic system replacements are going to come hefty contracts to maintain them and to check on them and to service them. And it's just something we don't need. The average cost for the new system, depending on how many bedrooms you have in your home, will be between $20,000 to $35,000. This is a verifiable fact. Call the health commissioner, because we all need to fight this. It's unnecessary. Matt Lynch has fought it, Judge Riddell has fought it, and I vow to you to fight it. Even though I have city water in Burton Village, I understand the need for septic systems, and I understand that people cannot afford that type of hit, whether it's at point of sale when you sell your home or when there's a problem. Along with the septic system, a new bureaucracy will be created to inspect them. The health commissioner estimates he's going to have to hire 4 new inspectors and a secretary just to handle the workload. So it's a mushroom effect. It's going to affect our economy, it's going to affect our local government, and it's going to affect our pocketbooks.
Time's up.
Thank you. Thank you. That was perfect timing. Thank you very much, and vote for me, independent candidate on November 4th, Brian Johnston.
Okay, any questions here?
Yes. Actually, this is going to be for both the candidates. First for you, Blake, you did a good job getting night meetings started. But then something happened, they dropped off. We haven't had a night meeting in a long, long time. I'd like to know what you could do about that. And for Brian Johnston, if you're elected, is there a chance that we could expand the night meetings to more than one a month?
How about repeating the...
Okay.
You repeat the question, and from after that, we'll give the people...
The question to me was about the evening meetings that it was actually Ralph Spitaler's. He actually called for night meetings, but he had 1 vote. When I came on, my second vote, that's why I was instrumental. I didn't I didn't create them. I just helped them happen. And the question continued that we haven't had any recently, and that's accurate. And as a matter of fact, we were supposed to have one right now, this evening. And I told Mr. Spitaleri last week, or the week before, that this event was scheduled for tonight. I wouldn't be there for the commissioners' meeting because it wasn't more important, but it was important that I be here. Hopefully, as we start to have members attend meetings more frequently, we'll be back on schedule to have them in the evening. As you know, we've had a lot of meetings canceled for lack of a quorum. I will tell you that I'm not the reason for any of those. so that I have to blame the other two. They weren't there.
Okay, you got your 2 minutes
okay.
there for that. Would you please stand up? The people in the back would like to see to be able to hear you better when you stand.
Same question.
If you're elected, what's the possibility of expanding the number of evening meetings?
I'm open to any idea that anybody has. I'm flexible. I can come in at night. If they want to have evening meetings, I would be 100% behind it. And as long as we have people coming to the meetings to justify it, I think that's important too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so other questions? Dave?
This is addressed to both of you, and it concerns
You want to come up here, Dave, and ask the questions so everybody can hear you?
It concerns how you would address retire, rehire.
That's been addressed.
This would address how you could, if you would address retire, rehire, because that's a problem that's come up in the past.
Okay, Blake, want to stand up?
Last week, I believe it was a week ago today, the Commissioner's Office passed a retire rehire policy that, while it does not eliminate it completely, it sets very strict rules for the implementation of a retire rehire. And the reason it doesn't, one of the reasons it doesn't restrict it entirely is there are ongoing court issues with age discrimination and so on. Now, some of those have been decided and ruled on, but whether they're appealed or not, who knows? But Geauga County does have a rehire policy. Let me go back. In the commissioner's hiring authority, if a elected office holder, if the treasurer wants to retire and rehire someone, the commissioners have no control over that. Only this policy that was passed is only the people that work directly for the commissioner's office that we would hire. Okay?
I believe that in certain cases, possibly retire, rehire is appropriate. But I don't think it should be a rubber stamp like it has been, not so much in the commissioner's office, but in some of the elected officials that I'm familiar with. And having worked here for 26 years, I've seen a lot of retire, rehire, rubber stamp, business as usual. And it shouldn't be that way. And as a county commissioner, I would certainly tell the elected official, if I disagreed with what he's doing, he may want to take another look at it, because we set the budget. And it's called playing ball. And it's time that the elected officials get away from their own little camp and play ball with the whole county. And retire, rehire is a hot topic. It's a hot button. You don't need, because not only does it just keep somebody making a lot more money than they did the day before, it puts a drain on the state retirement system. It kills morale in some of these agencies where people cannot advance up, because the top echelon, the brass, does not retire. So That's my answer. I'm not for it in certain occasions, possibly, but I think it needs to be really some type of process that goes through, and maybe the commissioners could be involved with it.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question? Mike?
Yeah. I mean, we have a representative government. We have a senator, state rep, and a federal senators, and we also have federal congressmen. Are the commissioners ever going to ask them the tough question when they're going to come to bat for us? I mean, are you going to talk to them about these issues, like the septic issues, for example, in the state? That's a state issue with Senator Eklund. Matt Lynch has already stated his position. Are you willing to sit down with our state senators and discuss with them those issues and how you want to see them vote when they cast a vote?
Thank you, Mike. As a matter of fact, I have sat down with Senator Eklund. Matt has made his statement, but Matt is a lame duck representative right now. I know that Nancy MacArthur is in the back, and she would be one of the representatives in Geauga County representing the northeastern corner. The other race that Sarah Latourette is in the other 11 townships, we have to wait until we see somebody settle out there. But yes, they make the laws. It's a Ohio Revised Code, and they need to be prodded. And I don't know why this board changed the health rules, other than there are people that apparently, maybe it's a conspiracy like the Neosec or somebody like that. We can only have fresh water if we have septic or sewers and public water. We can't have good, clean drinking water with sewers or septics and wells. That maybe their motive is to, we'll just legislate these people into something they don't want. What they've passed, I don't want to sound like an anarchist, but it's going to be real hard for them to get all of us to comply with that. But yes, we were currently we talked to him. Bob Wystack. I've talked to Bob Wystack about it. He's not in favor. Nobody in the county with any knowledge of this is in favor of this. It'll decimate our county. I mean, people here are having a hard enough time. Some people here are having a hard enough time making it as it is. Now throw a $30,000 bill on their plate? No, that's not going to happen.
Geauga County is either second or third richest per capita county in the state. We have a lot of talented people. We have a lot of rich people. We have middle class. But I believe the commissioners, working hand in hand with every government body, township trustees and village councils, then getting together with Congressman Joyce or whoever's going to be a congressman in January, can have an impact and a power base to make the word go our way so that we can make some changes. There is power in numbers, and the commissioners need to get more involved. They have been going to some of the meetings, but I'm talking about going to these village council, township trustee, and city council meetings in Chardon, and let's form an alliance instead of us against them. When I was a Burton councilman for 12 years, the county commissioner came to one of our meetings, and that was because they wanted something. We just need to change that.
Any other questions? Elsie?
Well, I want to say that I was at a council meeting in South Russell, and I did see Mr. Rear. I saw you there, and I appreciate it. And you had said at that time that you were going to a lot of the council meetings. So do you have any general idea of what, from those meetings, what the major problems are in the villages and townships, what they're having struggling with the most?
Are those questions for both?
Yeah, they can
Okay.
be for both of them. I asked Mr. Rear because he is a commissioner now, he was at the meeting. But you can also answer.
I would say that I'm not aware with the meetings that I've gone to, and I've gone to probably half of the townships and villages. Tuesday night, I was just at Montville for their entire meeting. They each have different problems. It doesn't appear that the septic issue has resonated with them yet. I mean, they may be talking about it, but they're not talking about it in, we have to group together and solve this issue. Many of the times when I went to Burton Village, they had road issues. I went to Bainbridge, they had road issues. It appeared that a lot of them had resident issues with their roads. As far as a consensus among the ones I've visited, no, other than they just are looking for help. And we can only give them so much. I mean, if they need road help, they can come to us, but we have to go to the engineer. We don't do roads. The commissioners don't do roads. We'll lobby on their behalf, but it's still that elected office holder's job, and it should be. He has the expertise, not me. I don't know. I know when there's a chuckle in the road. Other than that, not much.
Okay, thanks.
I still attend on occasion the Burton Village meetings, and I've been to Burton Township. Two of the issues that resonate countywide and statewide is the inheritance tax is done. We used to get money, we call it death tax. When an estate is settled, it would be a windfall. Hunting Valley, when the Lennon estate was settled, got $82 million for their village. Burton Village 1 year got $30,000. That's a lot of money for Burton Village. No more. It's gone. And the local government funds have been cut. So we don't have any type of money coming back from that fund. So we have to do more with less. Now, something the county has started is renting equipment. They have a specific type of piece of equipment that can clean out a ditch. Well, Burton Village can rent that equipment from the county with an operator, which saves us. It uses the equipment. It's being used more, so it's a win-win. And we have to do that more. And the commissioners have to get involved. They have to be involved with the local government bodies.
Okay, Bill, you had a question?
Yeah, I sure do. I happen to think there is a serious problem with drugs and related crime in this county. Okay? I'd like to hear a little bit more detail about Brian's ideas, and Blake, if you have any further ones, about how we can address this issue. Because from what I read, all I have to do is read the paper and see it's a growing problem.
Okay, Blake?
The problem is just not in Geauga County. It's national. And
I'll repeat the question.
the question was, what am I going to do about the drug problem? And what is Blake going to do? I've given you an idea that I have for a multi-agency task force where Bainbridge, Middlefield, Chardon, we all volunteer our services as needed. The sheriff has a narcotics unit now, but it's just not enough. He has 4 deputies working narcotics. It's not enough because they go home at the end of the day. These organizations are organized. We had a Mexican cartel operating in Newberry that no one knew about because they were good at what they did. They got busted because of a parking complaint. Someone got tired of their vehicles in a roadway. An officer did a good job and did some background on the person who owned the car. The point is, how long have they operated in our county? Our neighbors gone to our stores. If anybody tells you there is one school in Geauga County that does not have a drug issue, they are misinformed, and they have their head in the sand. We need an aggressive law enforcement presence because with drugs, you have robbery, you have burglary, and you have homicide. Look at the homicide rate in this county. It's up. It's up. It's a dangerous place to work as a police officer. I was very happy that I retired when I did. and so were the guys I supervised. But anyhow, no. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do to get this task force going, and the county commissioners have the extra money to help pay for the overtime and the ancillary equipment that's needed.
Okay, Blake?
Thank you for the question. It is, as Brian said, it is a real problem. And anyone who doesn't think it's a real problem is just kidding themselves. We have, when I say we, the county, has aggressively gone after drug pushers, dealers. We are, I don't want to give you a statistic. I heard it today. I didn't commit it to memory, but I would say arrests are up at least 40% in this field over last year at this time. It was 100 and some cases to 240 or some ridiculous number. As these, and don't quote me on those, but it's significant. As these continue, people will hopefully get the idea that we're not welcome there. It's not a good place to do business. We have aggressive prosecution of these people that has started. We've got to get them through the courts. There's a number of issues with doing that, with red tape and so on. Probably the best thing that citizens can do is to, if you see strange behavior in your neighborhood, if you see cars that are parked illegally, so on and so forth, pick up the phone and call someone. Now, from the commissioner's office, I personally would not profess that I'm a drug counselor or a detective or any of the related things. My job, as I view it, is to ensure that the people whose job it is have all the tools they need to perform their job. That they don't, that we're not telling them, well, you know, your budget's this or that. Their budget is, they pretty much get what they want in the narcotics enforcement area. If they come to us, I mean, it's not like we're saying, well, you really don't need another car. No, if you need another detective and you can make the case, you got it. And that's the only way we can do it. The prosecutor's added more people on his staff. The one problem that I have is the problem when they are found guilty and they go to jail, but many of them go into programs. And they should, because we're going to have to treat these people to get them off this. I only want to make sure that what we're spending your money on is a viable program. That it's not some sham artist or somebody that's, you know, take 2 pills and call me in the morning and you won't use narcotics anymore. No, I want to know that those programs have a track record of success. If they do, then God bless them, we support those. If they're marginal, then we need to look at that. And I don't want to waste your money on hocus-pocus schemes.
Okay, thanks, Blake. Okay, that'll do it for questions for the two candidates. So thank you both.
Thank you.
In our last